and we are the Belonging Project. We are a social media campaign focusing on raising awareness of teenage loneliness within our community. We hope to build a tool that lets people know they belong, aren't alone, and can get help or help others.
Today, we are here again with our mental health consultant, Mrs. Goswami. Last episode, we asked her questions regarding teen loneliness, its risks and protective factors, impacts, and ways to get help. We put this information to use in a community study.
This week, we sent out a form to our school, Northwest Career and Technical Academy in Las Vegas, asking several questions to 9th or 12th graders. It ran from Monday morning when school began, and the form closed today at 3 p.m., March 8th, 2026. Coincidentally, we totaled exactly 100 responses.
We look forward to analysis of our results with Mrs. Goswami in just a moment. But first, we would like to inform Mrs. Goswami about exactly why we are here today with her. HOSA.
HOSA stands for Health Occupation Students of America. It is an organization that provides an outlet to exploring health industry careers as well as enhancing the service provided by this sector to middle, high, and college schoolers, as well as teachers in the health science education and biomedical science programs. They aim to address the shortage of workers in the health science field.
As students at Northwest CTA enrolled in the biomedical program, HOSA has allowed us to explore many career options under HSE, Health Science Education. And through the event we're competing in, specifically mental health promotion, create a meaningful cause in our school to prevent and create awareness about the loneliness epidemic.
Particularly the reason we met with Mrs. Goswami, we received very helpful insight in acknowledging that loneliness is a problem and going through with it as our topic. Thank you so much again for meeting with us, Mrs. Goswami. It is a pleasure to have you consult with us for our project. Now, straight into this results. Okay, so as you can see, we have a big bulging sophomore right here. About a third of our responses came from sophomores. We are sophomores ourselves, so we think asking people in our classes and who are majority sophomores and, just our friends who responded, all sophomores. But we got pretty quarters here in juniors and freshmen. Mm-hmm. And I think what made it hard for seniors was that, they go home early. We don't have them as often in our classes. We share classes with juniors and freshmen just because of certain, gaps. And seniors, not so much.
Yeah. And so you got 98 responses.
Oh, yes. So I do know who the first two responses are. One of them was a senior. I forgot to make this a question until after the third response.
Okay.
Or the second response. So that's why we have 98 out of 100. But the first response was actually a sophomore. So we would have had 37 responses here and 12 responses in seniors.
Okay.
Yeah. But these two are accurate.
Yeah, that's a good number.
Yeah. Kind of funny. I like the exactly 100.
Oh.
I don't know how that happened. That was completely coincidental.
Makes it easy to do the percentages, right?
Yes, it does. Okay.
Yeah.
So here, 13% said not lonely. That's 13 people. Never in their lives. So it's pretty... Maybe we can look at why people said they were lonely first, and then we can move on to why they weren't.
Okay.
Not a lot of people said, wow, it just went straight up. It's crazy. But yeah, definitely a lot of people in their adolescent years right here.
13 to 18.
Yes. Teenage angst, Yeah.
And this is when they said, what period did they feel lonely?
Yes.
Do they remember feeling lonely, like different ages? And okay.
So all these,
Okay, I see. One age. Okay.
these responses right here that are going to say 87 responses, so it's divided. If you responded no, you got a different form than if you responded yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So all of these people who checked yes are people who have felt lonely in their life.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And they could also check multiple. So they could have been like, I was lonely when I was 5 to 6 years old, and I was lonely when I was 11 to 12, or, you know.
Right. Yeah. And you see a large number in the teen years.
Yeah.
The largest. Yeah.
Right here for sure.
Mm-hmm.
66 people out of 87.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How long did it last? Oh, yes.
A few months, days. Okay.
It's always a small lingering feeling. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
7 to 16. So this one just said forever, basically, since they were 7.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 7 to 16.
Well, a lot of people are saying to 16 years old.
Yeah. And I'm sure if we looked at some of the individual responses, like based off their grade, we could kind of infer that they are just 16 currently. During COVID, yeah, so we got a couple COVIDs.
Mm-hmm.
Sporadically throughout the year. Oh, wow.
Okay. Comes and goes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seasonally.
Mm.
This is a very specific time range.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2024.
It lasted mostly all of COVID, somebody said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of COVIDs. Again, when I major, and I was 5.
Okay.
And probably sores when I was 13. 13. That's where it all starts, isn't it? About 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Usually.
So, I mean, it would be, every human being would be expected to feel loneliness from time to time, like transient, right? That would just be like a normal human experience.
Right.
I think like short term or due to a situation, like, you know, moving to a new school, or like we talked about last week, breakup. So that would be part of the human experience and normalized. But the longer periods, these years of loneliness, that's an issue for well-being and development when it started when somebody was young and then went for years and years.
Yeah. Like this one
and mental health.
Yeah. Like this one when they said it started when they were 5 and then it would come and go in waves.
Mm-hmm.
3.5 years. That is quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them can't even keep track. A long time.
Yeah.
Continuous since kindergarten.
Okay. Wow.
And these are high schoolers. So that's at least 9 years.
Yeah.
Okay. We have an attention one right here.
Well, maybe the person would know how to get connection, right?
Yeah.
Like not all ways of, you know, some ways of attention seeking can be unhelpful or cause issues, but other ways, reaching out or letting people know to connect, you know, may help a person.
Yeah. Or like almost like a cry for help, maybe.
Yeah, or seeking connection, seeking attention is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
No.
Again, if we're not using, you know, destructive or unhelpful ways to do it.
Yeah.
Knowing you need it or want it and finding some ways to get some connection can be helpful.
Yes, for sure. It's most of the time, I feel like the people I hang around don't really know me. So this is kind of what you were saying last time, how you can have a bunch of people around you, but
yeah. And what they're saying here matches what we talked about last time, that it's about, you can't really connect and feel close if you're not able to be your authentic self. Like if you don't know yourself or aren't connected to yourself, you will still feel lonely. So this person was saying that, they don't know me. I put on an act.
Yeah.
So they're demonstrating that, that putting on an act to get is not the same as belonging, right? Belonging is when you're yourself and you feel people know you. But if you feel like you have to put on an act to get people to like you, or that's the friend group, then you could have these friends and you will likely still feel very lonely.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're not able to be your real self, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like here's that Brene Brown quote again to go with what that person said. Because we can feel belonging only if we have the courage to share our most authentic selves with other people, our sense of belonging can never be greater than our self-acceptance.
Mm.
And also if the friend group doesn't like like the person feels like these people won't like me if I'm my real self, then it's probably not the right friend group for them.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, maybe they don't know that. Maybe they just they might not have tried and the friend group might be fine with it,
yeah.
Right? They might not, have tried.
Okay, yeah, so some people are definitely saying, I think majority of people here have said for a longer period of time than those who are saying shorter periods. Like here, like this segment right here, like a day or two. And then the next one, a majority of 6 and 7 for years, 11 to 15, anywhere from minutes to hours. Is around as long as it took me to get my own confidence. We have no sense of what that is, Years.
A lot of people a long time rather than just a transient short period.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying a long time.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, there's definitely the short ones, and then there's definitely the long ones. Okay. 20 people out of those 87 said they still feel lonely right now.
Okay, 23%. That's a big percentage of people.
It's almost a quarter.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
You still feel lonely right now? Yeah, are you still feeling lonely?
But this is good. The fact that 77% said no, that's a good thing. So again, these are the people who said that they have felt lonely before. So have you ever lost somebody meaningful to you? 78% of those people said yes.
And that would naturally, just human being, as part of being a human being, cause you to feel lonely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, the people who said they have felt lonely. So user error here. This was my fault. The fact that there's only 86 responses is because I didn't make it, required until, like I said, that second response where I made some edits because I just made a couple mistakes, but 86. So do you have at least
Good. Yeah. So that's a good protective factor, right? Good asset, developmental asset, just life asset, even if you're not developing. But yeah, that's a good protective factor. So it looks like a lot of people have that protective factor.
Yes. Do you have at least one friend or partner, school or outside, they have a meaningful connection with? Okay. I'm happy with this. I'm happy with these. And I'm happy with this bulge. Several.
Yes. I think this question also connects to the previous one where it's like, do you currently feel lonely? Like, as you said, the protective factors.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like the fact that this went down is because all these people do have someone in their lives that they connect with. That's a good point. Okay, now for this one. Okay, like you said, another protective factor right here.
A lot of people feel like they have a good relationship with their family.
Yeah. And this bulge right here, majority says everyone in their household.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah, that's a nice number there.
This one, it's probably pretty low considering, not always, these are less common people in your household. Aunt, uncle, grandparent, parent, sibling. So at least this little bulge right here, they have someone they can rely on. And then 2 people said no. No one.
Right. So if we think about that other research that we talked about, the research in JAMA Pediatrics that we talked about, then those in the red are at risk. Because this good relationships correlates to more robust and fulfilling social life later in life. Good relationships in the adolescent years.
Yes.
With family correlates with more meaningful and robust social lives in the adult years.
Definitely. And if we wanted to, we could take a look at some of these people who said no and see their individual responses and see how they responded on loneliness in general. So, how often do you use social media? This was expected, a very large bulge in always. Social media is always. Because kids are always on it, and even the ones that said never. Very small percentage. Very small.
Right.
So
I think this question. Last time I remember, Mrs. Goswami, you said that social media has been taking away in-person time, and I feel like a good part of the form also said that they currently do not feel lonely. So I was like, this is very unique.
Yeah, definitely. Occasionally. I want to see what these people occasionally and never. I want to see what they said. All right, here's another free response. Do you feel like social media disconnects you from in-person contact? Do you feel like you compare yourself to people online? Do you feel like social media helps you build relationships? Okay, so some people, I'm not quite sure how much they read this question. Their no's. I don't use social media. Okay. I talk with a lot of my friends on social media, so I feel like it helps me connect with people. I sometimes compare myself, but not a lot. Okay.
I love social media, but it's kind of toxic.
I know. I agree. A matter of balance. Yes. Matter of balance.
Yeah.
I don't compare myself to people online. That's a good habit.
Yeah.
That's good.
From friends, but at the same time. Okay, yeah, so here's a little bit of a predicament. You can socialize with people online, but it separates me from my friends.
Yeah. So mixed. They're saying a mixed bag, right?
Yeah. I use social media purely for entertainment purposes. Okay. Do compare myself to people. I feel like a lot of these people are saying they do compare themselves online.
Yeah.
That can kind of lower self-esteem, would you say?
Yeah, and the other issue with it is there's that, there's a saying. I I'm not sure where it comes from, but I think it's a common one. I think it comes from 12-step too, like 12-step work, but I think it's a good way to look at it. It's don't compare your insides to other people's outsides. And what that means is you could be sitting there feeling like, down on yourself, and then you're looking at somebody's outside pictures. You're looking at, their picture being all dressed up and, having an event to go to that night, and they look a certain way. You're seeing their outsides. But when you're seeing the photos on Instagram and social media and all those places, you're not seeing from the photos what's happening inside of someone, in their thoughts, in their emotions, right? You're just seeing outside images. So sometimes we can be sitting there comparing our inside feelings to somebody's outside images.
Yeah.
And we're not having a conversation. We're not knowing how they really feel or what they're really thinking or what their morning was like. They may have had a really difficult morning, and then you're seeing their highlight reel from the weekend, right? You're not seeing all the things that went wrong, or really just how they're feeling and what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So like we could compare what we feel inside to, things we see on the outside. And it's also curated, meaning it's often planned out. It's often one tiny slice or snapshot of a person's life versus a, three-dimensional picture of what their life is like, including their emotions, right?
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank
then
you.
you can be just looking at these curated images, these highlight reels, and comparing either what you're feeling inside or your situation to that. It's only ever part of the story.
Right.
Only ever part of the story of someone's life, and may not even always be true or accurate.
Right. For sure. Wow. Okay, so some connects.
Yes, and no.
Yes, and no.
A lot of people saying they feel like it's a good way to connect with people.
Yeah. Which is good. Maybe that would be more protective then, would you say?
Yeah, there was some research done, and I can send that to you guys. I think I've got a couple of the articles, but they did some research on the different ways people use social media might make a difference, right? So what you're doing on it might make a difference. So they've actually done some research on that. I'm just looking up some of those articles, and they were looking at, if you, like the way you use it, like this study. So this one study was associations between social media use and loneliness in a cross-national population. Do motives for social media use matter? So does the motive make a difference in how it affects people? Like what, and then this one was social media use and loneliness among the young generation, a review of psychological mechanisms. So, yeah, I know they're looking at it like the ways that someone might, relate to be using their social media different from the way another person uses it.
Yeah, like active versus passive.
Yeah, and that could make a difference.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. The way you use social media.
Could make a difference, right?
Yeah, because like you said, a lot of these people who are saying connects it, they're using it to actually like talk to their friends online and not just other people who are saying they use it to scroll.
Also, I'm also thinking like if the people using the social media also have assets in their life and protective factors outside of the social media use, that probably makes a difference, right? Like if you use the social media and you have at least a couple friends that you feel like you can be yourself with and care about you and a good relationship with your family, that's probably gonna affect you differently than if you didn't have those things and were on social media, right? If you use social media but you get outdoors and you interact and connect with others and you use social media, my hypothesis is that the context makes a difference. Like what you're doing outside of the social media probably makes a difference.
Okay, that makes sense.
And how it affects you. Because sometimes it's not just, it could be what's happening to you when you are on the social media, like the images you're getting, the messages you're getting. But it can also be what the time doing something takes you away from. Does the time that you spend on it take you away from something really good for you? Like sleep, time outside, face-to-face contact, so that would play a role. If your time spent on it is taking you away from other important things, then it's going to be different than if you use it and you are, getting your exercise and connecting in person with people and, and everybody's spending, every high schooler is going to school for 6 hours, 5 days a week. Mm-hmm. So they're out and about in the real world, in real life interacting.
So not only the context, but the frequency at which you... Whoa.
Those are some questions.
I think those are really unique perspectives to look at. I really like that.
Yeah.
Because what would the kids be doing if they didn't have this? My guess would be, and this is a guess, and thinking of, it's like they'd be maybe making more effort to get out of the house and go see each other. They wouldn't want to just be home at this age. In adolescence, you're kind of driven to make connections with your peers. If they didn't have all this, what would they be doing?
Yeah.
What we used to do, I guess, in my age is you went out. Right? Yeah. You schemed and you called to get together. You made plans to meet up. You talked on the phone too, which was the old school form of, communicating when you're not in person.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That also sounds kind of you definitely have to be more in person, because if you truly do enjoy the company of your friends, then, maybe not phone calls always did it, right? Not always.
Right.
Because on social media, you can video call like we're doing right now. I see your face. You can look at all these videos, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
Also, if you're used to getting together in person, right, then you develop skills. For whatever you do, you develop skills. And by skills, I'm saying it might be the skill to know how to say, okay, I'm ready to go home now. Just to set a boundary and end the encounter. And if you're not used to doing that a lot, then maybe those tools, or that getting used to getting together in person and going home when you're ready to go home and communicating that to the person. Mm-hmm. If you're not doing that as frequently, I wonder what happens to that. It's something you develop just through doing it a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
When's the natural end to a hangout? And, how do you say you're ready to go home? Or,
Yeah, that's true. I remember one time I wanted to go home from a sleepover, and I texted my mom to text the person whose I was sleeping over at that I was ready to go home. Because it was my cousin, so it was just her brother, but I was like, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Do you think that also creates a loop in itself where it's I don't know how to say no, so I don't want us to go, or
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe it creates a lack of experience navigating all that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then maybe it makes you feel not as confident, I don't know what to do if I don't want to hang out that long, or
Mm-hmm.
or your expectations, if you don't do it a lot, maybe what you imagine it'll be like isn't what it's actually going to be like, right? But if you're doing that a lot, then you kind of probably have expectations. Oh, it generally goes this way, or it generally goes that way, or we generally hang out for this long. So you kind of know what to expect. Maybe sometimes if you're not doing it a lot, you don't feel like you know what to expect.
Right.
Very unique.
Yes. Very.
I mean, I think it's probably it's changing how the culture is. It's changing how people relate.
Right.
Maybe, again, maybe not all negative. Maybe there's people on these surveys brought up positives, but there could be maybe potentially some things that are lost in all this about how we connect, right?
Yeah, because I definitely think that as a society, we definitely spend a lot more time with technology than, like, I feel like some people, like you said, growing up, you would have never, like, we're doing a meet with you right now over a computer. Like, that's, we could have been in person, but we're not. This is a new way of communicating that hasn't been present before. So it's kind of crazy. Like, it's
definitely changing. Like, it would definitely influence how people grow and develop, right?
Yeah.
And the tools and skills they have for positive, and maybe, like I said, maybe some things could get lost that are valuable.
Definitely. Okay.
I know one positive I've heard from social media is that marginalized group, like gay and lesbian, and teenagers maybe with a different hobby can connect to people more than maybe they could back when there wasn't a network, right? Yeah. They might not be able to get in touch with other teens with or other adolescents with their similar things going on, and that some people, like in that community, have said, well, that's been life-saving, right? To be able to know you're not alone or connect to, other youth.
Yeah, for sure.
Other youth and, LGBTQ plus community. You maybe have been, marginalized before and not been able to connect to a peer group. So some have said, like, that has helped them feel not alone.
Yeah, that's a good point. I definitely think if you can find, like, a group of people, because maybe something makes you feel lonely. Maybe, like you said, maybe someone who's part of the LGBTQ community, that's what makes them feel lonely. Or maybe someone who, like, feels, like, segregated from other people, if they can find that group. I think maybe that's why at school we see a lot of, like, I think we have a gay alliance club, and then, like a black student union, like those are things.
But like if your school didn't have that, that's wonderful that your school has that, because that's awesome, and those are in person too, right? Even better. But I'm thinking of some communities, right? Some communities that may not have that in the school in the past, right?
Yeah.
They wouldn't, without the internet, without social media, those adolescents would not have been able to connect.
Yeah, for sure.
In places where the school has it, then it's there, right? And it's in person.
For sure.
But so I've heard and read that from people where they say that's one of the positives of social media. There's people like me that I was able to connect to when others were not like me, or in my school or in my community.
Yeah, definitely. That makes sense. So, yeah, definitely some time shifts. So maybe, like you were saying earlier when you said, I wonder how these results would look like in a previous time period when, social media didn't exist. But what if you also had that other factor where these little, like, clubs or community groups don't exist? Like, what would be
the trade-off, right? Yeah. Those people we may be worse off, right?
Yeah.
Others, Or just, and I was looking at, those large numbers of people, or that significant number of people, it looked like from the responses that said they felt lonely for years.
Yeah.
Would that look any different in a different time?
Definitely.
I don't know the answer to it, but is it getting worse than it used to be? I mean, it sounds like, according to the Surgeon General, maybe they didn't take a measurement before, but it seems like it's getting worse. Yeah. Right?
I think, like you said, the trade-off, what would be that difference? Because the U.S. Surgeon General said it was a problem in 2023 because there's also different countries have also gone through this. But I think it was, I can't tell you off the top of my head what country it was, but I know it was one that was like going through some kind of war at the time. So that contributed to their loneliness epidemic. So what would be the different factors in different places? So I think that's why.
Yeah, good question.
Kind of why here, for this community study, we kind of dialed in on just our community. Because what do we have at our school that is contributing to it,
Well, and we live in Las Vegas, too, which is like, Las Vegas is different from where I grew up. I could walk to my friend's house. We could walk through the store. I mean, this is how old I am. We could walk to rent a movie. That's how, there's no more video stores. But cities like Las Vegas, it's all spread out. And you guys all go northwest. but if someone lives in your neighborhood or your housing community, it's easy just to walk over their house, right? Yeah. And some people may have that going for them. They may have a friend they hang out with in their community, but having to drive all these places and coordinate that with your parents, I mean, would you guys say that presents an obstacle for you guys getting together?
Headache.
Oh, for sure.
Headache.
Yeah. Ooh. And like downtown Summerlin's a place that people like to hang out, but I was like, that's like from where we live, that's like a 25-minute drive, and then parking, and then for a parent to drive, that'd be over an hour out of their day to drive there and pick up. So it just like it presents obstacles because the teenagers can't get there themselves. They can't walk there. There's not like a square that they can meet at with a local. It's being in a city, everybody's more spread out and has to drive to see each other.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I remember being all excited when I found out that my friend was like a 10-minute drive away, because that's like
a 10-minute
good
drive, right?
That's good for Las Vegas.
Yeah. So that's probably a factor to this city, which may be different in other places in the country, right? Or people that don't live in cities, and it's easier to walk and ride your bike to the hangout spots and your friends' houses.
Yeah, and I guess also like access to transportation, because I'm pretty sure the closest bus stop to me is at like a 20-minute walk, and I don't want to walk 20 minutes in the sun when it's summer, and that's when I can actually hang out with people during the summer.
Yeah, and in the summer here, just like in the winter, other places, it's hard. We don't go out very much, right?
So
or be outside.
Yeah.
We're indoors, and it would be difficult to walk in that heat, So those are probably factors too, unique to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Like that, you guys live 10-minute drives from each other versus 10-minute walks, right?
Okay. Can you guys see my screen, or did I stop sharing?
I can see it.
Okay.
I can see it.
So, do you have any other mental or physical health issues you feel like sharing? So, 62 responses. I made this one not required because I felt bad asking, kind of such a personal question. Okay, depression, anxiety. So the reason I put physical on here is because I know personally that like getting hurt, like say you're doing on a sports team and your sports team is your connection to people. Like I remember like being hurt feels terrible because you can't do your own sport, and it's like you're watching everybody else, do this, do something you love, and you're set aside from it. So I kind of put that personal experience here, and that's why I said physical. Or, some people have a physical health issue that may be considered, like, some people are mean. I see people get made fun of for their physical health issues. So I was thinking maybe, like, correlations with bullying and, that kind of stuff.
And it's like that developmental loneliness we talked about last time. Whenever there's a difference between you and your peers, whether you're, less skilled and less mature than your peers, or you're really advanced, or you have a medical issue that makes your life very different from your peers, when there's a real difference in your development than your peers, then the developmental loneliness comes into play.
For sure.
Is a risk.
Oh, do you happen to know what MDD stands for?
That stands for major depressive disorder.
Okay.
And
my knee hurts and I have a burn on my stomach that's bothering me. Okay. Seems temporary, hopefully.
Yeah.
Always had a stuttering problem. Okay. And it has always made my life harder to communicate with people. So that's definitely something.
Oh, which is part of the reason I distance people from getting too close. Wow. So there we have a developmental thing, right? Yeah. The stuttering made the person feel different from their peers.
Yeah.
It made them different.
That's sad.
I see a lot of people saying, like, I don't feel like myself. That's really unique.
Yeah. Well, when I don't feel like I am myself, that is a sign. When somebody says, I don't feel like myself, that can be a sign, or is a sign that there's some mental health things going on, or some medical things.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of no's, but these could be, I don't feel like sharing, or it could be, I don't have any mental health issues. So that's another error on me. That it really, I have a lot of physical ailments and mental that really affect how often I get upset, lonely, or depressed. Okay. We have quite a few depression and anxieties, and a lot of them come in pairs. Depression, anxiety, depression, anxiety. ADHD, anxiety, and depression.
Oh, with a heart emoji.
Yes, with a heart emoji, okay. Feeling confident today. Autism, ADHD, depression, diagnosed. Yeah, that's a good point. How trustworthy can we be? POTS, okay, POTS. I experienced depression when I was 15. Generalized anxiety disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. Neither of these disorders in my case derive from online experiences, but they can be exacerbated by them. Okay. That's a good point. Okay, so this question, we asked if they want to describe their experience. So we have some personal experiences.
Okay.
I gotta find. So these are the non-lonely people, but I want to find the experience of lonelinesses first. So here we are. All right. So these are real life responses. I know that I felt this way, and oftentimes when I'm more lonely, I tend to not only isolate myself, but take part in risky behavior. Okay. I find comfort in it. Okay. Was not expecting that one. Why do you think someone would find comfort in being lonely?
Maybe because it could be a few things. Maybe because the risk of doing something different feels really scary. What's familiar can sometimes feel more comfortable, and maybe what it would take not to feel that way or would involve risk.
Right.
That feels really scary, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like you don't know how people will react.
Right.
In middle school, I was almost always left out by my trio of friends, and they constantly belittled me. So that's about that meaningful connection right here.
Yeah. So you could have friends, but if the connection isn't quality.
But this is good for them. They branched out, and they met great friends. So good for them. Props to them. Usually my mom and dad were already asleep. As a result, I barely ever talked to them unless they had something to yell at me about. So this is kind of situational, would you say? Ever since I started working.
Yeah. All the extracurricular stuff and the hours, they don't get to talk to their parents as much.
Yeah. And maybe that was their outlet, their relationship that they relied on.
It sounds like they say their schedule's so busy and that they don't have time to be with their friends because they're working. And
busy bee.
Yeah.
Chronological order. Oh, this one's long. I was at a new school and had a hard time making friends since everybody knew each other from kindergarten and I was a sheer kid. I don't feel like I ever had really good friends until 5th grade. Then COVID happened and I had to remake friends in 7th grade. But by 8th grade, I feel like they were isolating me and I felt lonely again. So I decided to make some new friends, and these two girls are still my best friends. In high school, I think the loneliness came from having very few friends, but knowing kids who were more popular didn't invite me, let me in. So how close you are with these people. Plus I hadn't dated anyone all of high school, which is something most teenagers have done. So I guess I feel a little romantically. Oh, okay. So definitely what they value here. Maybe they value a romantic connection, but they don't have it.
Well, and I think they're making the point too that there is like they're illustrating that there's different types of loneliness we can feel.
That's true. Definitely.
Somebody could have a romantic partner, but not feel like they have a really good friend group or a close friend, and they could feel lonely for friends, right? But not lonely romantically.
That definitely. COVID. Here's another COVID.
Yes.
This one's long. I'm not going to read this one, but I wouldn't change my experience for anything else because it allowed me. Okay. That's good. Good. I always felt like I didn't fit in. I constantly was trying to change who I was in hopes to avoid bullying. Okay, so here's another, like my skin color and the fact that my mom left me. I had hope in middle school that it was going to change, and 6th grade seemed very promising, but 7th grade quickly erased that. All my supposed friends hate me, and I was constantly being talked about and being touched in ways I didn't want. That just doesn't sound like a very healthy relationship. I got so bad that I thought the only solution was to take my life. When I came back to school, it didn't make it any better. One of my supposed friends would scrape my cuts and pour hand sanitizer on my wrist, and nobody stood up for me. They were the only people I thought I had. But unfortunately, I had this long-term sub and some family members there for me to help me work through it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
This sounds like an evil person. Not the responder, but their friend. That's just a bad friend.
They went through some horrible stuff, horrible treatment. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's terrible. I'm glad she found help, though. She found
Yeah.
help.
I'm glad she had people with her. Or them.
People are really had to open up and share. We're really willing to open up and share really sensitive things.
Because that's some crazy. That's crazy. That's a sad one. This person is talking about how they don't have the confidence to confide in other people.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're saying they have a fear that if they really let people see who they are, they won't be liked, and they're anxious that they'll mess up the friendship, right?
And they think it's their own fault that they're lonely.
I wish they had a more compassionate perspective than that, self-compassionate.
This one's sad.
They may struggle with social anxiety, right?
For sure. Sometimes feel disconnected from everybody, like my differences are just too great or they are better than me. And they feel the need to disconnect myself from the world, their age. So they have a low self-confidence. They think they're a weirdo. That's how they describe themselves.
Mm-hmm.
A monster to society. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Is there ways to, like, boost their own confidence or, like, help them not feel like, I don't know, I just feel like this is just so sad.
Yeah, I mean, it is. Yeah, people really opened up here and are saying some really distress that they're going through, some real pain that they're going through. Mm-hmm. Well, it starts with, I think, being able to talk about it with somebody and be heard without being judged or, get unhelpful responses. So if somebody can begin by being able to talk about what they're really experiencing and be listened to in a supportive way, non-judgmental way, then that would help. That'd be a starting place, at least.
Mm-hmm. I'm upset because I can't personally help any of these people. I kept their responses anonymous.
Of course, and that was why they agreed to share all this. Is the anonymousness. Yeah.
Sucks to be alone.
Do you think more forms like this would help, like having people to be able to give themselves that outlet without having a name attached to them would help more?
Yeah, and I think, it's like, wondering what we could do about it, right? Like what to kind of like on you guys' site, what, if you hear some of this stuff, what could, what do you put up on there? You're going to be limited because it's a social, it's not like one-to-one personalized, right? But I mean, I'm not sure, I don't know that I know the answer of what it does to be asked the question and to talk about it. Like if that's helpful. I'm not sure. Yeah.
So this person says depression runs in their family and they recently got medicated for it, which has helped them. But of course it still comes every now and then. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't go away entirely, at least in my experience. Mm-hmm. This person was bullied and it disconnected them from their family, but they found good friends. Mm-hmm. This person had friends that let them out. Someone who would manipulate them into doing not age-appropriate things. She was treated as an option instead of an actual friend. And her dad and stepmom would call her names. They were name callers.
Oh, no. Okay.
She had her brother and her stepdad, but they were always busy or alone. Now they're surrounded with good friends and their family is more understanding. However, they can't help that those thoughts in the back of my head that my friends don't want me around and in the end I'll be alone.
So they're talking about the profound effect of that really difficult period, that even though things got better, it still
lingers.
Bullied
by their class. Wow, it's a lot of people. They couldn't talk to anyone.
I think it makes us all think about, to really think about how we're being to other people.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Just what a big, how hurtful that is to be mean or to bully or to make fun of or to give someone the message that there's something wrong with you or you're not okay. And, so I think reading all this, one way that, and I know this is very simple, but one major thing is be careful how we treat people. Be really mindfully, be very mindful of how we treat people.
How we talk to people. This one seems pretty situational. They switched schools and everyone had their clique. But thankfully, after a couple of months, they found their people. This person lost a friend of theirs freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
They found it genuinely important, and they didn't understand why they left. I'm a naturally shy person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They have gained more confidence to just text someone when they feel like it. However, that really affected my mental health, primarily because that entire encounter weakened my friendship with other people who knew this person. And that social circle was initially very close and tight-knit during middle school. Since then, it's felt like I've had to avoid some of those people involved altogether and just distance myself. Rebuilding my social circle was definitely a difficult process, and I constantly worried whether I got along with people I met and if they saw my friendship the same way I did. I've gotten better though, and the people I've interacted with, grown closer to this year, helped me a lot. So now we're going to go over the people who have...
So just a quick comment on the responses. So they show you like the power of really painful emotional experiences, really painful relationship experiences, and the conclusion that you may draw about yourself from those experiences, like the story you may start to get about yourself, right? Like,
Yeah.
Story means like, I'm a weird person, or, people can't be trusted. Like, stories and perspectives come from experiences, and that just shows how powerful, if you have a really painful experience in relationships, how powerful that can be.
Yeah.
Or if you have trauma, meaning people hurting you or bullying you, how much hurt that can cause.
Definitely. Like the underlying reasons.
And what it can lead people to believe about themselves, right? And about other people.
Yeah. So for those who have not felt lonely, we asked if they thought they were a confident person. Because, like, I remember you were saying how a lot of people who find themselves are confident will speak up and build connections. So, big bulge right here to yes.
Okay. So it showed that the people who felt confident were also the people who didn't feel as lonely?
Yeah.
Okay.
And no no's. So, sometimes I love me and myself, but there can be times where I actually hate my entire point of existence. Just want to disappear sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Okay. That was very...
You see how, like, people opening up and sharing all of this is very different from social media pictures?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the kind of, the insides could be different from the outsides.
Yes.
Right?
Do you think you are completely yourself? Big bulge. Yes. No no's. And this one, I'm not going to read because it's very off topic. So...
Okay.
Sometimes. Do you think you're completely... Sometimes. So, that makes sense. Maybe there's certain things that make you want to be yourself and certain things that don't. I think... Have you ever lost somebody meaningful to you? It's so big because, well, it's not uncommon to have a death in your family or, loss of a friend. So even though these people didn't feel lonely ever, they said, they could still lose someone meaningful. Yeah. One friend. Do you have at least one friend or partner, school or outside, that you have a meaningful connection with? Okay.
Was there any no's?
Yes, there are some no's. There's one no. Exactly one no. But I wonder if this person responded yes. This person must have had responded yes to, do you have a good relationship with your family? Because there are no no's here. So even though they didn't have a good relationship with someone at school, they had one at home at least. Okay, our social media. We definitely have a bigger percentage that said never for never using social media. here than we did.
Really?
But this could also just be the amount of responses, because there was only 13 people who said they've never felt lonely before.
True.
Yeah. Do you feel like social media disconnects you from in-person contacts? Do you feel like you compare yourself to people online? Do you feel like social media helps you build relationships? So same question, different group. Wow, so a lot of these responses are saying that it does help them meet new people. I love social media, it connects me with my friends. No, but I do feel like it helps build relationships. Okay, I compare myself to a lot in social media, and it probably has impacted some relationships in my life. Okay. I think it kind of this person does not use social media, but they thinks it affects other people, which is exactly why they don't use it. Okay. No, I don't feel like it does, because it doesn't draw anybody away from personal contact unless they are fortunately super lonely and misunderstood. I rarely compare myself to people online, but there will be times where I'm like, man, I wish I had that too. Social media can be an on and off thing with personal relationships, but for me personally, I feel as if I don't care about relationships over social media, and I have no understanding why they don't just talk in real life. Okay. But they don't talk to people themselves in real life, they say. Interesting.
No.
Interesting. Social media helps me know what's going on with the world.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the best first place to go.
Yeah.
Yes to all. You compare yourself with everyone you see online. Most people think, I wish I looked like them, or even I want what they have. Very true. And then this was our most unique question. What helps you build meaningful relationships? Trust. Compared to some of those other responses where they were describing their experience, I'm sure that the person who said that their friend put hand sanitizer on their cuts didn't trust them very much, you know? So they don't have that trust. Good friendships. My personality. I'm crying. Talking. A lot of talking. Joining clubs and activities. So like Mrs. Goswami said earlier, you know, like those groups of people you can find that have a similar interest, right?
I mean, I would think, I'm hearing all the positives people get out of it, and I would think it would be, and I would wonder, like, okay, if they're getting a lot out of it, do they also see people in person and as well, right? Like, I wonder, like, is it more positive if you've got both going for you?
Right. For sure. And then, okay, so a lot of no's for do you have any other mental, physical health issues? Severe anxiety. We've seen quite a bit of anxiety. I have some depression and I have autism. Okay. So majority no, definitely. Anxiety and depression, I think, have been the big ones. Are those more common?
Oh, yeah. Anxiety and depression are common.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, yeah, that was everything. So we've gone through every question. Do you guys have any last conclusions or notes? What do you think?
I mean, I think it's, you can I'm just thinking about how many people or in the respondents just have felt hurt by relationships.
Right, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even, like you said, the ones who said that they found somebody, a lot of them said they still have that, like, in the back of their head. Yeah.
Yeah. Fear and lingering. And then the other thing I'm just thinking of is, I mean, it's not unusual to feel like it's some people, I don't know if I could say usual or unusual because I don't have a statistic for it, for the number that said this, but just how there are people out there that feel like, well, maybe no one would like me.
Yeah, definitely.
If they really knew me, or I have to put on a face because people wouldn't like the real me, or right?
And maybe that has to mean that they don't like themselves then, right? Like they don't appreciate themselves.
Maybe, maybe they're not feeling, they're not appreciating themselves. That's a good point. Yeah. Or they're not connected to their strengths and.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well.
Okay.
That's the form.
Well, I think this is really important what you guys are doing. I think these questions that you're asking and this issue, this subject, human connection, loneliness, I think it's really important.
Yeah.
Not just for mental health, but physical health too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And the society, how the society is going to function, right? Because for it to function well would be good connections between human beings, right?
Yeah.
And strong community connections.
I think that's something as a community, like community, I guess is the word, we have to work on. Like treating each other, the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
Just, being careful with your words.
Well, this was a really important subject that you guys are looking into.
Thank you so much.
And raising. Yeah. It's a great focus that you guys picked.
Thank you. Any last notes, anyone?
I was curious. My mind is still about all the stories everyone give. Is there more resources for people who really need the extra help you would suggest?
Well, the ones that were, I would suggest that they not that this is the only resource out there, but maybe the ones where it was really severe, maybe they would benefit from meeting with a counselor.
Yeah.
Or the therapist and starting from there. And then that therapist could help them think of other interventions, right? So if they're struggling with their mental health and they have these traumatic experiences that they're still struggling with, I think, talking to their parents about seeing a therapist and could be really helpful.
So someone to talk to.
So, yeah. You said parents, but I remember reading one in the forum, they said they didn't really have the family support. Is there anything they could do besides asking help from family they could go to?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard for me to say because it's there could be things that could help them if they're struggling with their mental health. It's a little hard to know exactly what's going on there. Different things could be going on with different people, right? So some things, I mean, I think reading, this may not be adequate. Again, I can't comment on the individual mental health or what they would need or, what would help and what wouldn't. But I think, I think if maybe the Youth Move would be a good resource. That's a support group for kids who are struggling, with mental health, and an advocacy group. Well, I think I misspoke there. I don't think they're a support group. I think they're an advocacy group. But still, even though it's an advocacy group, you could be connecting with others that are going through things similar to yours and be involved in advocating. I think reading good books can help people. Reading stories about people that are going through things similar than you, that can be helpful. We can discover through literature and books that we're not alone and that maybe our feelings and thoughts aren't so weird.
Yeah.
Writers have a good way of writing about the human condition. Many writers write about it beautifully. And so reading can be a powerful coping skill and resource for people, because if they read books and novels and things maybe about things they're going through, they may not feel so alone.
Yeah.
They may be able to develop a better story. And then I think, I know this is kind of hard because if they're feeling really stressed and really afraid of getting hurt by others, that stress state might make it feel like such an obstacle to join a group or a club.
Yeah.
Whereas that's why they could benefit from counseling to begin with and getting some tools. But I mean, it's so hard when it is hard if you don't feel like you can talk to your parents and you may be in need of mental health support, but you can't get that necessarily without your parents.
Yeah.
That's a tough situation. So maybe reaching out to a school counselor, going and talking to the school counselor. I know you guys have a center there at Northwest. That's that counseling center where if you're feeling overwhelmed or you're having a hard time, you can go to that student resource center.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I remember seeing on the tour. So
The Hawk Haven.
Yeah, the Hawk Haven. Go and talk to someone there. Talk to one of the school counselors. If you don't feel like you can talk to your parents and you're struggling, go talk to a school counselor. Go talk to a teacher. Go to the Hawk Haven and reach out to the adults on campus. Maybe they would be a good starting point for helping a kid and connecting the kid to resources.
Right.
So that I would like to say, as we talked out loud, that would probably be my first, right?
Yeah.
But the first line is if you can't talk to your parents, go talk to your school counselor. Go to centers like the Hawk Haven and see what they have for you there. Start there. And then if you feel like you're doing fairly well, you just feel a little bit lonely, definitely resources are joining groups or clubs or activities. And what we call bibliotherapy means like therapy from reading and books, might be seeking out stories about people going through things like you are, reading stories about other adolescents like that, that can be helpful.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, if you're struggling, definitely go reach out to someone. And it sounds like that most practical place for you guys would be school counselor.
School. Yeah.
That's because it's right there at school, those services.
Yeah, and that's definitely probably why school is such a big place where you have to feel connected.
Yeah. And go to a trusted adult at school.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Thank you guys. And I'm going to be out of town for a little bit, but if you need something else from me, just feel free to text me and let me know.
Yeah,
I know you need that form,
Yes.
right? You need that form, so I'll get that to you.
For now,
Thank you
that
so much.
form. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for all your hard work on such an important topic and your interest.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you for your time.
You guys, take care and just reach out if you need anything else.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
School is somewhere teenagers spend a vast amount of their time, and if it is somewhere we could start meaningful conversations, we are one step closer to our goal.
Thank you so much for listening to our last episode of this podcast. We are the Belonging Project.